My name is Steph Jensen. I know a lot of us are moving from our work environments to home office environments. And so I wanted to just give you a few tips. I've been doing this for 18 years, so it's kind of all coming full circle from being one of the few employees that were working from home to being one of many across the nation. So I want to give you just a few tips of things that helped me make that transition from working in schools and having that daily routine, getting up with my kids, getting them ready for school, getting them ready for babysitter, and then me leaving to now, oh my goodness, we're all here and my work environment is also my home environment, and so how does that all fit together? And so one of the first tips that I can give is to maintain routine. Even though we are not actively having to leave our houses and go out to our offices or to our classrooms, we still need to maintain some routine. This is going to be new for everyone, and I think one of the biggest mistakes that we can make is not maintaining a routine so that we sort of feel like we're in vacation mode. And we're not in vacation mode, we're not on weekend mode, we are still in active work mode, and so how do we maintain that routine? Now, some benefits of that is that in the past, or what I experienced, is that routine was very rushed in the morning. You have to get up, everyone had their little bit of cereal or whatever it is, and then off, out on the road, out to school. We don't have to have that same rush anymore. We can kind of slow it down a little bit and take some of that time to have a little bit of breakfast. We're not commuting, but we can have that little bit of time to talk with our kids. Sit down, talk, have a little bit of breakfast. And then also instruct them. Let them know what that day is going to look like. When they were going to school or to babysitter or daycare, there's a routine there. They knew exactly what was going to happen. The day was pretty much the same. That schedule maintained was kept the same. We need to think about doing similar activities as we're talking with our kids in the morning. So let them know what to expect throughout the day. Also talk about and lay out your expectations as far as when you're in your office space. It was another big thing for me. When I would go out and engage with my kids throughout the day, they knew that if I had to step in my office, as soon as mom stepped into that office, it was work time. And so we had different rules for how they needed to get my attention when I was in that office space. Even if you don't have a formal office space, still create an area that is your workspace while you're at home so that kids know kind of where those boundaries are. That's very, very helpful. Also, keep in mind, mute is going to be your best friend now. You used to be able just to shut your office door. That is not going to be your full solution any longer. You are going to have to make mute your best friend as often as possible just to kind of plan for some of those unpredictable times where little people might be coming into your office. You also might want to create a little space in that office area where you have some little quiet activities that they could do. I would have little spots here on, beside my desk where you can't really see it, but I could still be on my phone and they could be down at my feet doing little activities. They had little things that they could do. Those were also things that were only in my office space. So the only time that they could play with those games or play with those toys is when they were in the office. They didn't become bored with those, and I would switch those out every once in a while. Also, keep in mind that we're going to have to practice. Practice with your kids what those expectations are, what those rules are. So practice. How are you going to get my attention when I'm in my workspace? What are the ways that you can come in and ask me a question if you need something? So give them some of those instructions as well so that they know what those expectations are. Also, keep taking breaks. You're not working all day, meaning you're not fully engaged in workplace production all day long. So think about when you go out to get a cup of coffee or fill your tea, and there may be a coworker in there, and you chat for a little bit, and then you make your way back to your office, and someone hollers from their office, and you stop and you chat with them from the door, and then you make your way back down. So throughout the day, you have some of those little break times. Do that at home as well. Step outside your office. Talk to your kids. See how they're doing. Monitor what they're doing. This gives you an opportunity to kind of manage and monitor those activities. For me as a teacher, I realized that every about 45 minutes, I had a 15-minute break, passing period. So think about that if you're a teacher, of chunking some of that time, whatever you need to do, engage in that activity, but then step out and instead of being a hall monitor, you're talking to your kids. So it's kind of the same thing. Don't get stuck in that mindset that just because you're working 8 to 5, don't feel like you have to be tethered to that office space from 8 to 5. You do have natural breaks in your workday. Also, take a lunch. Take your lunch break. Even if it's not something I oftentimes push through lunch, especially now that my kids are older. But when I started this, my kids were 3, 5, and 7. So it was very important for me to take that lunch time and just kind of reconnect, and don't feel guilty about that. You can take a lunch, and this time of kind of chaos and crisis around the COVID-19, we need to be more intentional about taking that time with our kids. And finally, enjoy it. Just, stay calm and continue on. This is really, it can be a great opportunity for us to reconnect with families, spend more of that time. And also, I really like to apply something that I learned from the Boys Town Common Sense Parenting very early, which we just kind of worked through actually, was that concept of time. In one of those parenting classes, they talk about parents as teachers, and now many of us are teachers that are now at home being teachers and parents. And so I think that tip of time and breaking down the acronym, what it is the T is for talk. Talk to your kids, and I gave you some tips on how you can intentionally engage and talk with your kids. And the I is for instruct. Instruct your kids. Let them know those clear expectations. This is new for everyone. So the more specific we can be, the more successful this is going to be for all of us. So instruct. The M is for manage and monitor. Again, I gave you some ideas for how to kind of manage your schedule, manage some of that break time, and also have those natural times to monitor what's going on with your kids during the day. And then finally, the E is encourage. Find times to encourage. We need to encourage one another through this crisis so that we can all come out of it on the other side stronger. So I hope you're enjoying your time working from home. We are all going to return back to schedules. We just don't know when, so make the most of it and enjoy.